every week. Catch your freshers on your TV. Field level football, Quan, Pat, and CT. On the field running plays for the 3P. And we shine lights, camera action when you see the team. Pick 6, touchdown when I got the ball. And if you think you in my league, tell them knock it off. Money calling every day and I just got the call. Reduction over projection, it's in us, we just got a ball. We just got a ball. We just got a ball. We just got a ball.
Yo. What's happening? How you doing, Field Level family? As you know, it's another episodic episode of the Field Level. I'm CT, representing Pat as the host today. And this is Quan. What's happening?
Oh, you know I'm ready to go, man. We live. The only thing not live right now is this hairline. I hope y'all can see that, but don't worry. Next week, I'll be back with the fresh Tyrese in no time. Shout out to our brother Pat who can't be on tonight. But we're going to keep it rocking. What's up, CT? How you doing?
I'm solid, bro. You know, I got my strawberry-infused sea moss. Shout out to the sea moss queen, Field Level sponsor. You know what I'm talking about? And we got the honey flavor, and then we got the new sample she just dropped on us, which is the cantaloupe, which ain't bad.
Cantaloupe infused moss?
Yes, sir.
I ain't never heard of that, so I'm gonna need you to send an order over or tell me where to pull up, man, so I can. That sound fire.
At the Sea Moss Queen on Instagram.
I'm gonna do that. Make sure y'all do that as well. Before we get going, Field Level family, let's just do a quick little plug. Make sure you follow the Twitter at the Field Level 1. Make sure you follow the IG at the Field Level. And our Facebook group is Field Level Family. And hey, see, I don't know about you, man, but I'm ready to go. What we got?
Man, you know, to start us off today, first of all, if you hear a bird in the back, that's my bird, Catalina. Shout out to Catalina. We got a parrot over here, so
bird game.
She may laugh, she may cry, she may yell at me. I don't know, but it might happen. Just be prepared. So today, guys, number one topic it's been going on for the last week, even with the draft going on. The Aaron Rodgers saga. You know, how does this play out? You know, there's been reports that they presented him with a new long-term deal. There's also been reports that he said that he's not interested in returning. And then there's also been reports saying that he didn't want any of this to get out and he wants it to be resolved as of the Kentucky Derby. So, Quan, where do you stand on this?
You know, it's weird, man, because okay, I don't like. Okay, let me start over. Oh my gosh! Shout out to the bird gang. Hey, I think the bird want to go first, but oh well. So this is my feeling, man. You guys know before in other episodes I have said things like Aaron Rodgers has enough help. He has the weapons. I know he hasn't been, you know, granted a wide receiver in the first round, and that's kind of you got to give Aaron Rodgers all the help he can. Like he has enough talent. The Packers do very well drafting. So. Other than that, though, if Aaron Rodgers has a gripe, then Green Bay need to fix that. As players grow within their career, if they hit that elite status, we all know they demand more. They demand a little more respect. They demand like, hey, Aaron, you know, we plan on going this way in the draft. You got any input? You don't really got to listen. I mean, you got to listen to him, but you don't got to do it. But just the fact of make him feel like he's like a leader on the team. And that's what's being reported, that there's no mutual respect there. Like, we all know drafting Jordan Love was the ultimate like slap in the face.
Exactly.
Bruh, how you draft my replacement, but then go in front of the cameras and be like, oh no, we want Aaron to retire here. That don't make no sense. You're not gonna sit a first round rookie on the bench until I decide to call it quits. That's a wasted pick and that's a waste of money. So
yeah.
Bottom line, bro, I think it's fixable unless he doesn't want it to. If he don't want to be there, there's no way you can fix it. But if he's willing to kind of like go down at the round table and meet amongst the cheeseheads, maybe they can fix it out. But I don't think money's the issue here. Boy, been rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's taking jobs like the Jeopardy showcase and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You know, so he's definitely willing to walk away if necessary. You know, money and playing may not be on the table for him if he continues this way. But, you know, if I could just speak on it real quick, I think they've lucked out with how they develop some talent. Aaron Jones, Devontae, of course, was special even in college, but showed us, what he was capable of doing and being, upper echelon receiver in the league as we speak, when it comes route running, statistics, everything. And then tight end positions lacked a little bit. I'll be honest, in and out with Jared Cook and a few other people. I haven't really seen the consistency they used to have, even, in the early Brett Favre days. When they had Mark Chamara. I'm gonna see if you remember that. That was Madden name right there.
Man, I kind of do, but I don't. Didn't they have correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they have the older version of Algie Crumpler? Didn't he go to Green Bay after a while? Yeah, okay.
So and then I'm looking at the line. Obviously they let Corey Lindsey walk, which I think was a mistake, but I understand that you can't pay that much potentially. But now obviously you slap Aaron in the face. I will say that one thing I thought was impressive was they have tried to fix their defense. And if you know anything about watching their games, offense was really never the problem. Aaron made a lot of that stuff work, man. He made chicken salad out of chicken garbage, and you got to respect him for that. But, what about that defense? That defense has always been an issue. Even going back to 2012 when they got tapped by Cap himself, you know what I mean? They've been susceptible to that stuff for a long time, and it's cost them as they go forward. It cost them against the Niners in the playoffs, in that NFC Championship not too long ago, with Raheem Mostert going crazy. So, I do appreciate them trying to retool it, but you gotta show him that you want to win within this time. I mean, how many quarterbacks walk around like that? How many franchises have the opportunity to watch two greats back to back? You know what I'm saying? You have to take advantage of that window. I'd say Brett Favre was not able to take advantage of it the way he wanted to. Aaron Rodgers has had some opportunities, but hasn't necessarily had the backing that he's needed. And then now you're in a situation where he should be consulted every year. And I'm not saying that you have to listen like you said. I agree with you on that, but he definitely needs to have a seat at the table. What are we doing? Where are we going in this direction with the team? I understand that there's a new coach, so that changes some things. And part of that may have been a relationship that the coach, Mike McCarthy, had with Aaron Rodgers. But what does that say about the thoughts the new head coach had? Oh, let me go get my guy immediately. How does that make sense when you have one of the best quarterbacks ever, potentially top 10 ever? You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make sense. That's disrespectful, and it's a bad start off the bat. So I understand why he wants to leave. I don't really think that there's a destination that makes sense at this point. I don't think you do that if you're Chicago. I guess you could if you're Denver, but what are you saying? Why did you even trade for Teddy Bridgewater then? Does that mean Drew Lock becomes the number 3 quarterback? There's a lot of different factors I think that you have to think about if you are to move him. And I'm not saying that there are starters that are better than Aaron Rodgers, but if you have a situation, that doesn't need to be fixed, then don't fix it. And I don't see that, for a lot of teams in the NFL right now, just based off of what they're doing. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, man.
So, so real quick before we button up Rodgers, I want to hit on what you said about his possible destinations if they were to trade him, right?
Yeah.
So the places that we've been hearing have been Denver, and I want to say I heard maybe even Philly, but Philly kind of like I heard another report that Philly's really waiting on Deshaun Watson's legal issues to unfold and see what happens with that, because Philly has their eye on that situation. That would be crazy. But if we just take Denver for a second, you think of like, okay, they got Teddy Bridgewater they just traded for, and they traded for Teddy. So they picked up that contract, right, that Carolina just gave them, the big 4-year deal. I don't know how much guaranteed money's tied up into that. And then you have Drew Lock, where Drew Lock, it might be the cheaper option of the two. So
yeah, absolutely.
Why is he considered top 10 ever with only one? Who is that? Okay,
that's my brother, man. That's my older brother.
All right, older CT bro. I mean, just a question. Do you consider who is your, if you could list who your top 10 quarterback list is all time, and then we'll go from there. Pat, our brother chimed in real quick. He said the Raiders are a possible destination. Now, the Raiders, obviously, to me, makes the most sense. Even though I'm a Raider fan and I like Carr, I don't think we need to trade future assets for Rodgers. But it would be an upgrade, don't get me wrong. But Derek Carr has 2 years left on this deal with no guaranteed money left. So
could do something, yeah.
That can make sense. And if Green Bay did that, you'd be getting a quarterback who age-wise is in his prime. He's coming off his best year. And we both know you could win with Derek Carr. You could win with Carr. So that would be impossible. But back to Denver, if they were to get him, Drew Lock would be gone.
He has to, yeah.
Drew Lock would be gone because if you send Teddy to Green Bay, I think Green Bay would know what they're getting in Teddy. We still don't know what we can get from a healthy, mature Drew Lock. He's been injured his first 2 seasons, and he's been like showing flashes of like, okay, remember he went like 4-1 his rookie year when he finally got healthy. He went 4-1. That's like, oh my God, we got something. And then when he gets injured and he's flustered, oh well, this is the Drew Lock who's not really ready. So you might have. Then you can have Jordan Love, who reports saying that he's not ready yet, with Drew Lock. You make them battle it out and may the best man win, and you see what you got there. So I think Rodgers would be great for Denver. I think that'll make them an instant playoff contender right now.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. We'll see how they do. Green Bay's weird with their Mark Murphy and Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur. They all got a weird little thing going. It's like nasty gumbo. Like it's there, but it ain't clicking. Everything's there, but it ain't clicking. You know what I mean?
I feel that, man. You got to slow cook that joint. But
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I answer Big Bruh's question first. I think you got to consider him top 10. Yeah, I understand the Super Bowl ring perspective, but I mean, how many quarterbacks have put their team in position almost year after year, single-handedly to a certain extent? Statistically, multiple MVP level seasons, and won an MVP reward. So I think you have to consider him. And then just his natural ability, man. There's nobody like Aaron Rodgers, the way he flicks the ball like that is effortless every single time. Basically from sitting down on the couch. Like his delivery is next level. His touch is next level. He may not be the most popular person in regards to personality, but the dude can play amongst the greatest of all time. So I got to give him his kudos for that. As far as destinations, I feel you. I think that it's a shame that in Drew Lock's situation that you have a young quarterback and such a young core that they put together that you won't see it come to fruition, potentially because of these different things. And I think that's a sad sight. But maybe there's more going on there. And I'm not saying that you don't look at it because honestly, that's John Elway's MO to go grit, a veteran quarterback, right? A Peyton Manning type. And then if you look at John Gruden, Pat mentioned the Raiders. To be completely honest with you, same thing. That's his DNA. He went to go get Jeff Garcia, Brad Johnson, a lot of those vets, to put his team in contention. He didn't really want to spend the time on a young quarterback. The only young quarterback that he had was Chris Sims, and you know how that worked out.
Oh, so, he went viral before viral was a thing.
Yep, exactly. And then, last thing I'll mention. So is this generation? Yeah, I would say he's generational. Absolutely. Dan Marino is generational, and Dan Marino ain't got a ring, right? Aaron Rodgers at least got a ring. So you got to put him right there.
Yeah, man, he's definitely Hall of Fame. He said, but yeah, man, moving on, bro. I want to talk about something that you put in our group chat that I really wanted to hit on because this is going to kind of go into my MO, which is boom, 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 boom. Production over projection. So
yes, sir.
Let's get into these, oh my gosh. Okay. You'll get your turn. Mini camps is coming up. So we know the rookie's going to have to report first. And then, we're going to go from there. But I want to ask you, bro, in your opinion, you can go offense, defense, mesh it all up. Who are you looking for out of this draft class that just happened? Who are you looking for that's going to be like on the rise, who's going to like come in and produce right away?
Good question. I'm going to surprise a couple people here. I think
let's go.
JC Horn went to Carolina, right? So him
Carolina.
and Chin, that safety that I was talking about all last season, I think are going to mesh well. I think that defensive secondary is going to be special really, really quickly. And I think he'll come in and go 6+ interceptions off the bat. I think he's going to be special there, bro. He has a pedigree, obviously, from his dad. His dad wasn't the best player, but had good hands and had a swagger like no other. And I believe his son's going to take after him on that.
Oh, he was a dog.
So, absolutely. What you got on this one, big dog?
I'm gonna go with what Pat just put in the group chat. Eastside Winston for the Saints. Wide open wide receiver room. Hey, shout out to Neff, man. He definitely got his opportunity coming with the Saints. So if y'all check the Field Level family, all the social media, we've been blasting it since we got the news. So make sure y'all support the family. But we're first. I like it. So me and you are gonna go back and forth. You go one, I go one, because so we can
Gotcha.
tit for tat. I'm gonna go. We're not a sexy pick, but I'm gonna go with the Jets offensive lineman Elijah Vera Tucker. Okay. Now, he's not gonna lie at the stat sheet, right? But when I think of production, I think of someone who is going to come in and start, or at least play a lot right away. Well, we know he's a lineman; he's going to play. Yep. So I think him protecting the opposite side that Mekhi Becton's on, who they got last year in the first round, to solidify that O-line with Zach Wilson, a young quarterback who, if anybody needs a fortress, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
Because the defenses he's going to see are going to throw so many looks at him. The Dolphins with Brian Flores is from that Belichick tree. You know he's going to send the wolves at him. You got Belichick himself, who has a retooled defense. I'm talking about all the players who opted out last year coming back. You got the new draft picks coming in. So that right there. Oh, and not to mention they just signed Matthew Judon to a huge contract. So he going to send the dogs at him. And then the Bills, you already know what they do on their defensive side of the ball. So I think he's going to come in and produce right away at a high level because he's going to have to. There's no choice.
Okay, I'm going to scroll through a little bit. I'm going to give you a name that may not be a top 10 name, but I think he's going to do some things. And it's the same team. He's with the Jets. Elijah Moore.
You stole him from me. I got him right here on my list.
Man, this dude right here is one of the coldest when it comes to running routes. I've been wrong before. Also thought, few pass receivers have been nice when I've seen their route running in practice and stuff like that, and it didn't pan out. This guy, I think, is completely different, man. I think he's a jack of all trades. I think he is a more complete receiver than a Hollywood Brown. I believe that his arsenal is a lot more lethal. So I'm expecting big things out of Elijah Moore off the bat, and I think Zach Wilson will appreciate him early. What you got?
Hey, not to mention, I'm gonna add on to that. Since you stole him, I got to add a little bit to this. You know what I'm saying? I think he's gonna also make a huge impact, bro, because he's going to transition from college to the NFL in the exact same role because of what the Jets bring in. They got Denzel Mims on one side, who they drafted last year, who when he came back off his hamstring injury, he was very productive. And then, like you said, I know you were very big on them signing Corey Davis in free agency. So he's going to be able to come in and transition perfectly because he's not changing his role. He's going right back to the slot. You know? So that's good, especially with the Jets that I can't remember. They don't have a tight end that I can think of. So, yeah, all them short intermediate routes, he gonna do damage. So I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball with the same position you started with. Different player. Okay. I'm gonna go with Caleb Farley.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go Caleb Farley.
We talked about him. Yeah,
we did. It's debatable if he wouldn't have had the back flare, the black flare. The black red flag that came up about his back.
Yeah.
If he would have not had that come up late in the draft process, he probably would have been the first corner off the board.
Probably. That's true.
Length, speed. He runs a 4.3, and he's the biggest corner in the first round that went. So, with him coming in, going to the Titans, instant starter. They got rid of Malcolm Butler, who was the starter. They got rid of Adoree Jackson, who was the starting slot, but he was a starter at some point. Desmond King did not get re-signed. So,
and they traded for him, which was weird.
That it makes no sense, especially when he has safety and slot versatility. But that's their own issue. So I think he's going to come in. He's going to have to start just based off of what they have. So he's going to need to produce. And I think in that division he could take advantage of some of those quarterbacks. He's in a division with Houston, whoever's throwing the ball is going to give him opportunities. If Wentz don't do well, he gonna throw you a couple.
True.
And then you got Trevor Lawrence, who's a rookie, so he might throw you a couple as well. So I think the opportunity to do well quick is there for him.
Agreed. I'm gonna go right off. I'm gonna actually start some mess real quick, if that's okay.
Here you go.
So I text y'all about this earlier because it kind of struck my nerves, man. Hit the wrong tune. I'm gonna say an impact player based off of what he's projected, based off of being a second round pick, the 57th to be exact. The Los Angeles Rams took Tutu Atwell.
Oh, I don't know. Let me hear it first before I disagree. Let me hear it.
So I'm bringing this up because it's not my thoughts. It's what the Rams thought.
Okay.
They put out something, I think it was Bleacher Report or something like that, talking about the projected starting offense. Tutu Atwell was on there, and two other receivers, and neither one of them was Robert Woods. I don't understand that whatsoever. I don't understand that whatsoever. I know it's early for our rants in the show, but I got to drop this, man. Like, I'm not a Rams fan. I'll be completely honest with you. Never have been. St. Louis, Los Angeles, don't matter. In between, I don't care. But to disrespect Robert Woods like that, arguably the most talented USC receiver to come out. He's produced, and he's been looked at as a number 2, but played like a number 1. I don't understand that. It's disrespectful.
Not to mention, isn't he the most productive receiver on that roster?
Absolutely.
So
Cooper Kupp, don't get me wrong, great player, should be the complimentary starter there. And you got Deshaun Jackson back, older, so utilize him in the right way. But don't tell me Robert Woods is the best receiver that you have on the team. That doesn't make any sense to me.
He's not only the best, he's the most productive. So I agree with you about what that list there. See, that's when their projection just don't match what we go by here at the field. It don't match up.
Absolutely not.
I got one more for you, and then you can finish us off. I got one more.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna stick to the defensive side. See, Pat, here we go.
He's a hater, bro.
Here we go, Pat.
Hater.
It ain't about who's the best. First off, to CT's point, this is a balloon, by the way, y'all. We had a party over here. First off, it's not about who's the best, because that just goes off of talent. We're going off of what have you seen in the numbers. Even when Cooper Kupp was gone, he was the most productive. Cooper Kupp's been in the last 2-3 years. He's still the most productive. So You talking about who's the best. We talking about who's putting up the numbers, who's staying healthy, who's doing what they got to do, who's playing receiver, outside receiver, slot receiver, running back, slot. Don't matter. Come on, man.
You agree? I got you. You're right.
Come on,
so
man.
I'm going to put it this way.
Go ahead, man. Finish up before I go. He got me mad now.
I'm going to have to bring it home, man. There's a corner the Niners drafted, Ambry Thomas, that I'm really, really excited about. Baller, playmaker, kick return specialist, a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife type of player with a tough tenacity. I think this is what the secondary needed, a nice little jolt of youth that can be productive in this particular defensive scheme for years to come. He's not going to be asked to step in day one, but he can learn from Verrett. He can learn from E-Man Mosley. He can learn from potentially Richard Sherman if he does, in fact, come back. He can learn from K1. So he's got plenty of people to really rely on and really build himself up. He could be the next nickel. He could be the next, starting corner at some point. And I believe that he has that talent. Plus, if Richie James moves over to really, predominant role in the receiver, room, a la, slot, something like that, I believe that this is where you can elevate an Ambry Thomas on special teams. So really looking forward to seeing what he does.
Oh, hey, real quick, the Dolphins, Javon Holland, last one.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Big, very good safety out of Oregon. But here's the thing: the Dolphins just released their starting safety, Bobby McCain, who was also their team captain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't draft Javon Holland, first round safety. Release your starting safety who's been to the Pro Bowl and is a team captain and be like, well, he won't start. They did that move. They did that move for that. Like, he was probably getting paid too much money already, or he was about to demand big money, and they got rid of him for that. So I think, all the players I put down, bro, I just think they're going to produce because they're going to have to. They're going to be called to play really early to some of these other guys like like probably what's his name? I think even Asante Samuel Jr. corner for the Chargers.
Yeah.
They re-signed one of their own, and he's playing in a division that's going to have a lot of all experienced quarterbacks in the AFC West, except the Broncos situation. So I don't think the picks will be there for him. You know, Mahomes is not going to throw more than 10 a year, and Derek Carr has been uber careful with the football. So yeah, we'll see what happens though. It's a long wait. We'll see.
All right, man. So we're going to transition to something that's popped up in the last week. How do we feel about Tom Brady's stance on the offseason workouts? Did you get a chance to check into that story a little bit, Quan?
I did. I checked in a little bit, and then I seen the clips that you sent in our group chat. So
yes, sir.
Here's what I feel, man. We know last week Jawan James, the offensive lineman for the Broncos, who got hurt on his own time.
Yep.
If J.C. Horn has 6 picks or 10, we'll give up. Pat, we're not going back into this argument, man. If y'all want to hear this argument, man, y'all got to check the archives. We're not doing this, Pat. Not today. Not tonight.
Bring them old stuff.
I just like, okay. In one of the clips you sent, bro, and I hope all of our listeners really pay attention to this. Tom Brady was talking about, like, we don't need all these practices right now because it's not like a competitive period. We don't need people like really competing about races. Here's my issue with that. I don't got a problem with training on your own. It should be voluntary, right? But he's trying to get rid of it completely. I would say just keep it voluntary because, like, when you train, like, if you go down to like the college level or the high school or even the youth level, these practices, even now for my football team that I coach, it's voluntary. And what's wrong with getting out there and running around and like having like competitive races? Like, don't you, when you in the gym, don't you compete against yourself? Don't you compete about how many reps you do and the weight you put up and things that or on the treadmill or whatever you're doing? Like, don't you compete with yourself? So then it's the same thing that's going on right now. And even if you look at like on YouTube, you look at like the Cleveland Browns social media, Kansas City Chiefs social media, or their YouTube pages, they like document their offseason workout programs and they document their mini camps. Right. And you see what they're doing. It ain't nothing but field work, man. Pulling sleds, chains. Like, I don't see the problem in that. You know, maybe everybody don't want to pay for a personal trainer when they can just go to the facility and get it for the F.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, brother.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with getting it for the free. But so I see what he's saying though. I don't think it should be mandatory, but to get rid of it completely, like, look, bro, just because you got TB12 and you have a yoga specialist and all this other stuff, you know, everybody might not want to do it that way. So I get it. I just don't think you should make it mandatory. Just keep it the way it is. It ain't bothering nobody. If they don't want to do it, they don't got to do it. Oh, well. So what?
You know, it's easy for him to say that, right, when he does have TB12. What I would say to him is, why don't you invite your whole team over there, you know, and make it accessible for them, right? Because you know that you're protected, so why don't you help protect your teammates? So that's one thing that I think would help. On the flip side of it, the situations differ for everybody, right? If you're in a contract year and you want to stay with the franchise, it's very important that you show up and show your dedication, right? It's very important that they know what you're doing. Obviously, with COVID, you may be able to get away with just sending them video of you working out or doing something like that. But, you know, typically that's the way business is done. You may be able to get your extension early and not have to wait till free agency, right? If they see that dedication from you. But on the flip side, when it comes to training, and you know this being a coach and getting into the training world, there's a certain way that you're supposed to train. I would say that it's changed over the last 10, 15 years, right? When we were in high school, you know, for instance, in my school, they still had conditioning. Everybody was running gases and stuff like that. My coach got smart our senior year, and I explain this to my athletes all the time. Instead of doing conditioning after practice, our conditioning happened during our drills, during our, 7-on-7s, our endos, our team. We just ran double, triple the plays, right? And we were well conditioned and well prepared every single game. Tempo. And that was kind of how we did it. And I thought that was smart. Every situation is different. Every team's going to be different. But from a trainer perspective, I think it's important that you don't overdo it with your athletes. So, for instance, if I'm training an NFL athlete or any athlete outside of, you know, training camp, OTA, something like that, there's only so many miles I can put on their legs. There's only so many things I can do. We can go hard, but you got to know how to go hard. You got to know that it's not going to be 10, 12 reps. It's probably going to be 6 to 8 because I have to know your body well, and I have to make sure that I'm preparing you and not hindering you from being successful. And I think sometimes people overdo it. I know Pat can attest to this. We were trained, overtrained, and it led to a lot of injuries for us. And going back to the lab, you understand the importance of marginalizing that, making sure that there's maximum effort in the right situation. And a lot of the times that's forgotten about, and it's a little bit reckless. So for me, for example, if you're doing a drill and we're looking for reps, I will stop you right in the middle of the drill if your form isn't right. I have to cue you up to make sure that everything is proper so that you're getting the benefit of the workout, right? If we're doing let's say a lunge and you're leaning too forward and you're pushing on your knee, that's putting pressure on your knee, and that's not healthy. That's not what we're looking for there. The idea of that particular exercise for me is the quads, right? I want to make sure those quads are firing. So if you're doing that incorrectly, I need to reset you and make sure you're doing it properly. And sometimes that gets in the way of the flow and the vibe of the practice of the workout. And I think that if we take a little bit more time to diagnose that stuff, hell, between all three of us, we didn't have enough injuries to serve everybody. So
big facts.
So it's really important that we take that extra time to have those moments, that diagnostic test, to make sure that these athletes really know what they're doing. I'm not saying we can stop all ACL tears, Achilles tears, which is really happening on a regular basis now, but there's a lot of that stuff that we'd be able to prevent,
No, hey, I agree 100%, man. And, don't forget, Ron, I'm waiting on that list still. Q don't forget none, baby. I don't forget none, baby. You know what I'm saying? We still waiting on that list. I wanted to ask you, as we transition to one of our next topics, bro, and hopefully our family can chime in on this because we're going to be blasting this all week until it happens. What free agents are still out there that you think can still make an impact when they get on a team? And if you have a possible landing spot, I want to hear that too. What you think?
Yeah. Let's start with the man himself, cornerback Richard Sherman. If I got to start it, I think that potentially there's a home back for him in San Francisco at the right price. I've had some conversations about this with people. What I would want from Richard Sherman in this particular situation is I need you to basically be the assistant DB coach. No disrespect. What I'm saying is I need you to, basically take the 2 young rookies that we got under your wing. Also, keep mentoring Jason Verrett because it's been working well. Keep mentoring E-Man Mosley because it's been working well. Keep working with K1 and keeping Jimmy Ward's confidence up like he did. He's been speaking so well of Tart and Jimmy Ward his whole time with San Francisco, and I really feel like that's elevated their play. So continuing to keep that vibe and keeping that Salah esque vibe that they had with that team, right? Richard Sherman fits into that. And then on the flip side, what is he good at this point in his career? He's still long. He still has some agility. So I need him short yardage because he can make that sure tackle in most cases, unless the dude's like Alvin Kamara. That's different. He can make that tackle potentially. He can get his hands physically on that receiver. And then goal line situation. If he's guarding the right big body receiver, I trust his ability to be able to get out of that play. So I think those are the 2 or 3 things I would need from Richard Sherman if he did come back to the 49ers.
He was supposed to he's been linked to John Gruden for a while in the Raiders, but since we signed Casey Hayward last week, that's not happening now.
Right.
I'm going to say one of Casey Hayward's ex-teammates, Melvin Ingram's still out there. I honestly don't know why he's still out there. I think he's 32 years old. He could still give you production. He has the Pro Bowl he has Pro Bowl on his resume. In Chicago would be a man. Oh, excuse me. Pat, that would be great. He'd probably only get a 1-year deal there, but I'm sure he's looking for something short so he can ball out and cash in later. But I think that would be great. Not sure if they can swing that. I know the Bears got Eddie Goldman coming back.
That's gonna be huge. He's a baller.
Akeem Hicks is still there. Mack is still there. So I don't know if they could add that on the other side, but that would be great. I could see Melvin Ingram, since I don't think he's going to the Raiders now either. now that we signed Ngakoue, but I could see Melvin Ingram going to the team like the Jets, because in the Salah scheme, which is that it's that 3-4, one of your linebackers coming down, which was D Ford.
Right.
I could see Ingram being there. I can't even name a Jets pass rusher, but I can name. They still got Quentin Williams. He'll be back healthy off of that freak accident he had. So you pair Melvin Ingram in that defense to give them some kind of juice. Like Quinn is not enough. You got CJ Mosley still there at linebacker, but he ain't played in 2 years. He was hurt, and then he opted out. So if he comes back healthy, re-energized, you got some juice at the mid-level, and all you got in the back end that's somewhat proven is Marcus May.
Right.
So if you can add another piece, even on a short-term lease, I think he would fit there for sure.
It's a good call. I'm going to throw a unique name out there. Maybe this will help Aaron Rodgers' decision to return back to Green Bay. Tyler Eifert, tight end position. There was one point in time where he was deep. Now, he had a freak injury at the Pro Bowl and hasn't really been the same. But I saw him coming along as he was working his way back with Cincinnati. And then really, had a weird stint with Jacksonville. Didn't really hear much from him. But if he's in the right situation with the right quarterback, I think he could be potentially effective. I'm not saying he'll be on the same level, but, a pass-catching tight end, that has a skill set that can block as well. That could be an underappreciated or undervalued acquisition for Green Bay potentially.
I didn't like that at first when you said it, but now I'm thinking about it. I think it'd be cool. He wouldn't come in and be asked to be the man because Robert Tonyan's still there.
Yep.
He would be the guy, and then they still have Mercedes Lewis, who they just gave an extension to, who's kind of like their blocking / red zone.
That's true. I forgot about that. That's my guy, UCLA.
Yeah, I know he's dope. So I think if you could add him to that mix, I think he got some nice targets there, and he could kind of reinvent himself. I think that's what he needs. He needs like a what do you call that in the business world? Image change. Yeah, change. I don't know, brand shift. You do something. I don't know. I'm gonna throw one out there for our corners. Mees, if you watching, Pat, I want you to chime in. Our resident cornerback. What about Steven Nelson from Pittsburgh? Steven Nelson was a very good slot. I think he's one of the top slots. He was one at the top of the market when everything started with free agency, but he's still out there. I think he's just probably waiting for the right situation. I think he was on the Steelers and the Chiefs, I believe, in his career so far. Honestly, I would love to see him on the oh my God, I had it earlier. I would love to see him with the Browns.
That's funny you said I was thinking the same team.
I was thinking of the Browns.
Though? They're a lot deeper now. They did a lot to their secondary, so I don't even know if they technically feel they would need him. Yeah,
that's true. They might not. Or maybe he can go to a team where he can get an opportunity to start. Maybe even Jacksonville. I don't honestly, other than C.J. Henderson, I don't know any corner over there.
They got Shaquille.
Oh, that's right. He did. Well, slot, because he's more of a slot guy.
And they drafted somebody. So they got 3 fairly young corners. So I think they also signed somebody they signed a safety from the Chargers. I don't know where he's gonna go, but I think he can still be serviceable in the right situation. So he's out there because after Casey Hayward came off the board last week, it's pretty much Sherman and everybody else. Yeah. Yep. And then I had one more. Oh, he said Brian Poole. That's a solid one. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know where he would go though, to be honest with you.
He waiting too long, man. The draft already happened. He should have been signed.
They can't control that though. These cats want to see what they can get for value at a cheap price, and it depends on what he was asking for as well. But that's a tough one, bro. There's so many pieces that they can put out there that'll be late camp ads. It's sad, man. A lot of these cats are going to be practice squad cats, at this point in their career, just based on the way things worked out. If you ain't in right now, it's going to be hard for you to get on at this point. Just with COVID and the way the offseason is going to go. What if they do vote, for these workouts to change based on what Tom Brady's saying? He held a conference call, and this is one of the first times I've heard of, a prominent player like that really speaking up against something. Which is interesting. And then they're kind of having this back and forth, like, it's sad, man. Juwan Jones,
James, I think.
James, yeah, tears his ACL. Oh no, sorry, Achilles out for the season, and now the teams are looking into not guaranteeing contracts. That's rough, man. That's rough. Their salary for the season, like that's rough.
Hey, man. But like we talked about last week, and Pat said, like, how I'm gonna pay you for getting injured off duty?
I know, but this is the thing too. Like, I'm expected to be in tip-top shape, so I gotta train. If I come to camp like Albert Hainsworth and I fail my physical repeatedly, you're gonna want to cut me. You're gonna want to, penalize me, fine me, whatever you want to call it. So it's like if I'm doing the right thing by trying to work out, and like I said, it really depends on what the trainers have them doing as well. Not necessarily blaming the trainers, but you definitely want to be careful because you need to get them to camp, right? You got to figure out a way to do it, even if that's taking a few reps off or shortening the tempo. You got to make sure that you're putting them in a position where they come into camp and they can be healthy. If something happens in camp, that's out of our control as a trainer, but you prepared them for that. And I mean, freak things happen, right? But we always want to be as cautious as possible because the win isn't necessarily in the offseason. The win is when you have an opportunity to battle for that position and show in front of the coaches who are really evaluating you and are responsible for your long-term future.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I think you got a good point, bro. I mean, we can't blame the trainers, but you kind of got to really do your homework with who you're going to be spending your money with and putting your body at risk for who you train with. It all matters about who you train with. So, maybe it might be good to look at some kind of maybe some kind of scale. Like, look, if you get injured working out on your own time with your own trainer, like an accident, maybe we can't fully pay it, but we can still pay a big portion of your salary because we shouldn't have to pay you fully because it's not like you're gonna be traveling, you're gonna be at the crib. You ain't gonna be going all these bye week. All these away games. You at the crib. So maybe they could work some out. But yeah, man, that's tough. I don't know.
So we're about to close the show in a couple minutes, man. Any remaining thoughts? Obviously, one thing that's coming up that I want to mention, and we'll talk about it obviously next week because it'll be all over the place, is the NFL schedule will drop this Wednesday. Very, very excited about that. I know there's going to be some prominent games. I think they hopefully will put the Niners back in the rotation because we need to be seen on TV.
Absolutely not.
The need to be seen. The faithful need to be seen. I'm sure they'll show, what do you call your stadium? The little Star Wars joint, whatever you want to call it.
It's called Allegiant.
No, but there's a name already. Like they call it.
The nickname, Death Star.
There you go. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's what we're doing. Hey, look, don't be mad because the draft's gonna be in Vegas next year. Don't be mad.
So, what we're trying to do is coordinate travel plans. So, Field Level Family, next year's draft, you might catch us live at the draft. You dig? So, stay tuned with that, man. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we ain't gonna go to Cleveland or any of them other places. So, realistically, Vegas will work.
Too damn cold. But no, I think only thought I wanted to say, bro, I just wanted to kind of say something about what's his name, about DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
I wanted to just point on this. People on social media that's hating on the man, saying this closes the debate between track athletes and football athletes. Football athletes cannot hang. No duh. They train for speed. They train for track. They train for that. DK Metcalf went out there with dudes that probably weigh 180 pounds soaking wet. And been been training for track their whole life doing nothing else and training for the Olympics. When DK came fresh off the Seahawks field, fresh out the weight room, 6'4", 235 plus, and was only not even a full. What was he? Not even a full second behind him?
I think the winner ran 10.12. He ran 10.36 and was hanging with them midway.
So that's what I'm
pulled him in the end. And honestly, the only reason was a technique thing. It was a drive in his arms. That was the biggest difference in how they were running. If you rewatch that video, which tells you a lot about his skill set, the dude could just literally, come out there and do what these cats are doing at his size, which is unbelievable.
So that's
A
what
10-3 for his size is,
bro. It's
crazy.
it's incredible. It's incredible. So people who hating, this is why I don't call people trash. Quan, that's brief. I know you don't know. Pat, bro. I know it's far because it's track. So I know UNCT, that's y'all lane. But I'm just saying, though, for him to even go out there and run that and be that close, to you it's far, but to me it's close because he really shouldn't have had no business being with him at his
he
size.
probably would have looked better. He'd have looked better in the 200, actually. I think it'd have been more competitive. He'd have had a little bit more time to catch that speed. But, yeah, I mean, shout out to DK, man, just being a freak athlete, modern day TO in the sense of just being fast, physically imposing and a true threat out there. So, shout out to him for doing that. And Marquise Goodwin, too, should be jumping. I don't know if he did that day, but he'll be doing his long jump stuff, too, and he's pretty nice at that.
This is why you do not call players in the NFL trash. You know why? Because if it wasn't good and it was trash, then why aren't you doing it? You feel me?
Exactly.
That's the way
exactly.
I feel.
I'd be happy if I ran 11.36 at this point in my life.
Man, I'd be happy if I went out there and just didn't pull something. Keep it a buck with you. Because my hamstrings is tight, even just, you feel me? It's bad.
Thinking
And I
about
got
it.
that and I got that plantar fasciitis in the right foot. It's bad.
So we'll talk about it offline, but I'll tell you exactly what to do for that, man. I had it in both feet. It was terrible.
Oh my God, yes. Hook me up, please. Hook me up. No Dr. Shows, man, because no Dr. Shows. I want this nice, good therapy. If you can do that for me.
Oh, I got you, brother.
My God.
Well, anyway, Phil's Level family, we appreciate y'all. We'll have the full cast back next week. We'll be talking about the NFL schedule and all things going into OTAs. We get our first look at some of the rookies this upcoming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll touch on that. And, we're just fortunate to have you guys around and looking at the show. We appreciate you, and we're looking forward to more good content in the future. So appreciate y'all. Signing off.
Hey, follow your boys. We out.
Every week, catch your freshest on your TV. Field level football, Quan, Pat, and CT. On the field, running plays for the 3P. And we shine lights, camera, action when you see the team. Pick 6, touchdown when I got the ball. And if you think you in my league, tell them knock it off. Money calling every day, and I just got the call. Reduction over projection, it's in us, we just got a ball. We just got a ball. We just got a ball.